Hello and welcome to the first in a bunch of videos I'm going to do about life in Japan. In this video I thought I'd talk about how I got to Japan, because a lot of people ask me all the time on Twitter and all that, on YouTube and all that sort of stuff, how were you able to move to Japan? And it's actually quite simple for a lot of people in different countries. So I thought I might talk about it a little bit and help you guys along if you wanted to come to the glorious land of Nippon, also known as the place where Chinese cartoons are made. Today I'm going to be talking about the working holiday visa. The working holiday visa is this sort of really easy way to go to a different country for a year and kind of just live and work and just see what it's like. The main purpose of the visa, from the official government website, is to be able to fund your extended travel while being in Japan. There are only certain countries where the working holiday visa is available to you, and those countries are, in order from the immigration website, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the Republic of Korea, France, Germany, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Denmark, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Norway, Portugal, Poland, Slovakia, Austria, Hungary, Spain, Argentina, and Chile. Chile? Is that right? I don't know. If you're in one of those lucky countries, congratulations! You have got a fast-tracked way into Japan. If you're in the USA, which probably a majority of people watching this will be, sucks to be you guys. I asked Trump to make it happen. To be able to get the working holiday visa, there are a few things you need before you apply for the visa. Now, I'm going to base this off of my own personal experience from Australia, because that's what I know best, but I'll also sprinkle in some stuff that I read about on the internet, because I surprisingly didn't find much stuff about Australia. Most of it's from the UK, so I might sprinkle a bit of that in there. So if you want to get the visa, which I fully recommend, you can literally do whatever you want except work in a bar, hostess bar, and a pachinko parlor. You can basically do whatever you want in Japan for the 12 months or the 18 months, depending on the visa. There are a few things on the checklist you need to have before you even put in the application for the visa. First requirement is that you have to be between the ages of 18 and 30-ish. Now, I say ish because there are some websites or some nationalities that say you can only be 18 to 25 inclusive. So if you're 26, they may be a bit more hesitant towards you. But then I've heard stories of people who were 26 and then they didn't get their visa, but also people who were 29 and they got their visa just fine. So I don't know. It all depends. I personally did it when I was 24, so I had no issues. But I'd always ask the embassy. You can always ring them up and be like, hey, I've got a question. Can you answer this for me? I'd be like, yeah, sure. The embassies are super nice because, you know, Japan hospitality. The second requirement, and this is the major one, is that you have to have funds to be able to live for the first month in Japan. Because you won't hop off the plane and immediately get a job. That won't happen. Add to the fact that most places pay you every month. Now, even if you're a casual working for like 1,000 yen an hour, you're still going to get paid monthly. Now, Japan ultimately recommends about 300,000 yen, but different countries have different varying levels of how much they require you to have in your savings to be able to apply. Australia, it was 2,500 for an individual or 3,500 for a couple. Typically, I recommend having more than that because you don't want to live in poverty or out in Yoyogi Park. Yoyogi Park, because, you know, it's cold because it's the middle of winter, so don't do that. The other thing is that you need your plane ticket on top of that. Now, this is to show that A, you have your money, and that B, you have a means to get to Japan. Now, you can have your plane ticket out 6 months or a year in advance, but you have to have your plane ticket booked when you apply. And you have to be able to show you have the money in your bank account as well. Another thing is that you need to have some of your accommodation booked. You need to work with companies like Sakura House or Tokyo Guest House and pre-book a place. Now, you can pre-book a dormitory, a small apartment, a room in a share house, any of those things. You can pre-book, and then when you get there, that's when you have to pay your monthly accommodation. As long as you can say, oh, I'm going to be living at Sakura House, and I already have a pre-reservation, which is a deposit of 33,000 yen, I think I paid. You get most of the deposit back when you leave, which is fine, but you have to pay that up front as soon as you do the deposit. So just be wary about that. Also, the other important thing is the ticket to leave. You have to have enough money to be able to leave Japan. You can't stay here after you've exhausted your visa. That's just not possible unless you get another visa, which is a working visa or a student visa or I've just married a Japanese national visa. You know, those visas. You can't extend your working holiday visa. So you have to have proof that you're able to leave. This may be like $1,000 more on top of what you've already shown in your savings, but you need to have proof that you're able to leave the country. Because again, you can't just be stuck here living in your Yogi Park because it's cold, especially in winter. We'll point out, it is incredibly hard to buy a plane ticket for a year in advance, or 18 months in advance. So if you come from the Land Down Under, expect to prove that you have a bit more money. Now you have all of this done and you're like, okay, I can finally do my application. Make sure you do it at least 2 months out. Because if you do it a month out, they may not process it in time. And if you do it 3 months out, they're just going to be like, just come back in a month, guys. It doesn't matter. You got to make sure you have a few things. Is the proof of funds, so just a bank statement or whatever, your plane ticket, proof of pre-reservation, your passport. You actually have to send them your passport. That's a really annoying fact that I'll get to in a second. You have to have your resume. You also have to do the form which they give you on the website. Another photo which has been signed by Justice of the Peace. I don't know what they call them in other countries, but signed by someone who's official enough to sign things, like a judge. That's maybe too official. A police officer, if that's official, I don't know. And you have to write an essay. This is the fun part, because you have to explain to the Japanese government what you're going to be doing, and you have to time date it, and you have to explain your activities and how you're going to be able to fund yourself and all that fun stuff while you're here. Yeah. So typically for a working holiday, they like you to move around a lot. So say you want to be in Tokyo for 3 months, then be in Kanazawa for 3 months, then Hokkaido for 3 months. And then maybe go to Kyoto for 3 months. I don't know, that's 12 months right there. You're going to outline what you have to do there, how to fund it, and yeah, just basically list all this stuff and just be really kind and friendly and, proper report writing. Yeah, lots of fun. And you also get another form with basically you have to explain the whole what you're doing, but just it's more formal. So it's like dated and it's like timed and it's like what? It's really dumb, but your embassy's website, your Japanese embassy's website for your country would have all this information on there. So I do recommend going on there and taking a look and making sure it's all correct. Because if it's not, they're going to be like, we can't do it, you have to come in, and it's a big hassle. The last thing, which isn't this isn't important at all, I didn't have any of this, so that's fine, is that you can have a work contract or an offer. Now, that's mainly for people going to teach in English schools. So if you want to teach at like GABA or something, or I think I saw one for Nova while I was searching this stuff up, they typically have these little packages where you pay them, and they do everything for you, and then they give like this little contract thing and say, yeah, that's fine, you can come in and teach our Japanese people English for Tokyo 2020. You've now done all your documentation, you are ready to send it all in. I also recommend doing a copy of your birth certificate. What else did I do? And then if you have a partner, or you're married or something, do your marriage certificate as well. They might not accept gay marriage certificates. Japan doesn't have that, so I wouldn't bank on that being a thing. And if you are a gay couple, you may have to do the separate forms rather than the couple forms, which make it easier. It's really annoying, but that is something you have to ask the embassy, because it's just one of those law things which isn't all worldwide yet. Annoyingly. Because you're sending your passport to the embassy, I recommend doing it by registered post, if you have that in your country, and maybe put insurance on the post, up to how much a passport costs. Like an Australian passport is nearly $300, so if I lost that, I'm out of pocket $300. Make the postage company pay it, not you. Now, annoyingly, not every major city in countries has an embassy. So, like, say if you're in Canada, they mainly have an embassy in Toronto, not Ontario. Ontario. In Australia, they didn't have one in my state, so I had to go halfway across the country and pick up my passport, because you cannot get your visa sent back to you. You have to go to the embassy and pick it up. So you might have to fly or train to a different city just to pick up your passport. It's normally fine. I walked straight in. I was like, hey, I'm here to pick up my passport for a working holiday visa. Like, yeah, that's cool. What's your name? Okay, cool. Here it is. And they gave me a whole bunch of information, which was kind of useful. But yeah, so be prepared that you may have to fund that as well. Now, for my application, mine and my wife's application, it only took 3 days to go through. We literally sent it on the Friday, and on Wednesday we got an email saying the passports were ready to be collected. Now, we hadn't even thought about booking tickets, because we were like, oh, it'll be about a month until the passport comes back. No, they immediately did it right then and there. I expect because we're a couple, it may have been easier, because, you know, Japan wants couples in the country. But for a single, I have seen it go for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, so just be prepared for how long it will be, but they will let you know when it goes through. If it doesn't go through, you will have to go to the embassy and do an interview, because there may be discrepancies in the information you gave. Say like you got a bank statement from a month before your application, and then you did the plane ticket 2 weeks before your application. They may want to see that you still have those savings and didn't just spend all the money on the plane ticket, because that would have been silly. So they may request another bank statement or something like that. Just be wary of all this information. And after that, that's about it. You just wait and you fly off and you come to Japan and you find work. And yeah, that's not this video, because this is the working holiday visa video, and I hope it's helped you guys. I personally think it's a really great system, especially considering how hard it is to get a visa to live in Japan. It's stupidly difficult if you're not on one of these working holiday schemes. I feel so bad for Americans who are like, I want to live in Japan, and it's just like, well... So I hope that's really helped you. That's how I did it. If you're from one of the countries that I did speak about, here is the list again. Then, you know, come over to Japan and, you know, come to Aki Harbor and spend all your days there. Hopefully not all your money, because it's expensive. If you have any other questions or any other kind of video topics you'd like me to cover about living in Japan, just let me know in the comment section down below or on my Twitter. But until then, I've been Dr. Dazza, and I'll see you guys next time. Matane. Coffee. The instant coffee in this country is not great. I'm going to be honest. I have not found great instant coffee. In Australia, we had tons of great stuff. I might have to get an espresso machine.